Hi Jennifer, how you doing?
I'm fine, thank you.
I really liked your film.
Thank you so
really,
much.
Really blew me away. And I guess my first question is, you're the star, you're the director, and you're the writer. Of all the hats to wear, what's the most difficult hat to wear for this movie?
Well, for me, definitely the directing was the most difficult because I've never done it before, and it was a pretty steep learning curve. And I wasn't intending on directing it. That was never the plan. But what happened, Jake Kasdan was going to direct it, and we were really excited about that, as was he. But in an indie film, there's like one moment in time where you get this wonderful cast that you want to be available at the same time. And that happened, and it was the dead of winter last year, and Jake wasn't finished with Bad Teacher, so he wouldn't have been able to prep the movie. And he pushed me to direct it, as did John Hamm, as did John Sloss, and all of the producers on the film. And I said I would do it on one condition, and Jake and I struck a deal where he would be on set while I was on camera at the monitor to sort of be a second pair of eyes and kind of have my back. So that's the only thing that made it possible. But it was definitely the thing I had to prepare the most for. My DP was endlessly patient with me during pre-production because I just would pepper him with questions 24/7 so I could be, feel like I knew what I was talking about and was prepared by the time we were shooting. But he was really generous with his time and with his knowledge and sort of filling in my gaps and helping me translate what I wanted in the film to terms that the crew could understand and all of those things that were new for me,
Yeah, you've got one great scene that I really loved where you're in Vermont and you're having that dinner climactic scene.
Yes, with John and Adam squaring off, yeah.
And it starts off funny and it gets real serious. So, with your directing hat on, what's the hardest part about doing a scene like that?
That scene was really particular because it's such a long scene. That scene is 10 minutes long, and we had one day to shoot it, and there were 8 people, and, our days, we couldn't really go into overtime much because it's a low budget, and you get in trouble if you do, so it's short day to get a huge scene like that, and we had 3 cameras that day, so we kind of, that felt like rehearsing a one-act play. We just would do the scene all the way through with 3 cameras angled on different people and different combinations of people, and we kept moving the angles every time. So we would sort of make our way around the table, but one of the cameras always had John or Adam, no matter what, since they were the heart of the scene. And we all got to work out that day, and that was a challenge of just like, are we going to be able to get this? Are we, is this possible in a day's work? So that was a challenge, but it was also probably the most satisfying day because it was all 8 of us together and that dynamic and watching Adam and John be so brilliant, which they are, but opposite each other. And we've all been friends for 15 years, Adam and John and I. So there was an extra, I think, gravitas to 2 great actors who have history together and real friendship kind of stepping into these roles. It was exciting.
It's a great, great scene. All right, my last question is, I laughed on the ground over the cavernous vagina monologue and the Kegel exercises. That was so funny. Where did that come from? Where was your inspiration for that particular little line?
I honestly just feel like my girlfriends are really honest with me. Like all my girls who sort of have become parents, they tell me all this stuff. They're candid about the things you worry about and the things that you don't know if you haven't experienced it. So I guess I'm lucky that the girls in my life are not only dear friends but pretty honest with me.